Okay, this is stream number 22. I'm working on making my own keyboard. This isn't it. This is a prototype keyboard. The keyboard I'm actually making has this kind of profile. These are some 3D printed switch plates that I made. And I also made the chassis that they're going to sit in, so that it's about this shape and this size. Kind of inspired by this corn keyboard that I have. So I'm still waiting for the PCB to come back, but I have all the parts and all these plates and stuff ready to go. While I'm waiting for the PCB to come back, I'm going to continue working on the firmware. So a couple pieces of firmware I haven't finished yet are, I guess it's not really called hold+tap, it's called hold+tap, right? More generically. So I'm going to go and actually say hold+tap here. So yesterday I worked on and finished these and some of, or 5 and then some of 4. So I added some debouncing code and I kind of rewrote the code that does the key scanning and introduced a couple intermediate steps. So before generating a report for the host, this human interface device report, we're first getting a bitmap of the keys that are held down and we're debouncing it. So, for example, if you have this string of samples on a particular key where 0 is not pressed and 1 is pressed, and you see like a rapid change back and forth, we're going to like discount that. So basically waiting for the signal to get stable. So we see that the key is held down a certain number of times in a row or for a certain amount of time. And then we decide, okay, the key is held down now. Same thing on release. So we ignore that 0. We ignore the first few zeros until we get enough zeros in a row and we say, okay, the key is released now. So that works pretty well. I can demonstrate some bounces and how we debounce that. And I moved on to the next step, which is to start handling, again, this, we're going to rename this to hold+tap. So the idea is like this key right here is, let's show you. If I just tap it, it's an A. So you tap it, it's an A, but if I hold it down and I press something else, like the key next to it, it's a capital, so it's a shift. So this key on its own is a B, but if I hold down this one and press this one, it's a capital B. So I worked on that and got that working yesterday. But there are a few combinations that don't quite work. One is the freezing of modifiers when you start holding down something that might be, again, hold+tap key. And the other one is a rolling key press. So let's see what I have here. For each key, determine add a key code. Yes, so we're already doing this, but we're not doing the freezing of modifiers. I guess I should put here the part that we're not doing it, which is until all hold+tap decisions are made. Hey there, how do I say your name? Save us Bastion. Until all hold+tap decisions are made, and we can hide this so you can see the whole thing. Until all hold+tap decisions made, any other keys pressed need to be delayed. So I'm kind of trying to replicate the behavior in QMK. So for example here, you're pressing and holding down a key that's either shift or F, and then when you press another key that right after it and you're still holding down this and you haven't released it and haven't gotten to the tapping term time elapsed yet, we don't generate anything, right? And if the decision's made right here when you release the key, it becomes a mod or the default QMK behavior, but for ignore mod+tap interrupt, it becomes a tap because we haven't gotten to the tapping term. You can see right after that F decision, we now say, okay, now we know it's a J and not it's an FJ instead of a Shift J. I took a look at my QMK settings I'm using for my Corn keyboard, and I am indeed using this ignore mod tap interrupt. And I think that's important because when I was using the default settings, I was getting a lot of accidental modifiers like Shift where I wanted to have an F. Oh, just Sebastian's fine. Okay, hello. So I'm going to go with the ignore mod tap interrupt logic. I think it's simpler too. Basically, we make a decision on hold versus tap depending on when you release the key. Or which happens first? Do you release the key first, or does the tapping term expire? If you release the key, it becomes a tap. If tapping term arrives, then it becomes a modifier or a layer shift or whatever hold means, right? And so the part that I'm not doing it is delaying nested or rolling keys and then acting upon that. So for example, like I said before, if I hold down this key long enough and I tap another key, it's a capital B, right? But let's say I hold down this, and without waiting long enough, I tap the other one. Yeah. So like I'm doing tap tap, tap tap. It's showing up sometimes as a lowercase. Tap tap. Even though I end up holding down both keys way longer than the tapping term. That should show up as a capital B, the way I want to be pressing the keys, right? It's as if I'm holding down this key long enough and then tapping the other key. So I think it's best illustrated back on one of these. Yeah, so it's best illustrated by 6. Right now, we're not doing this behavior, which is what I want, where the J is delayed, and then it becomes a Shift J, because we decided here at the tapping term it's a Shift. Right now, I'm immediately on the J. I'm just putting out a lowercase j, because we haven't decided if this is a Shift or a tap yet. And yeah, so let's fix that. We'll make the decision at tapping term or release, but not before. If we release this hold tap key too early, then it won't modify the other key. And we have to put them in the right order, right? Do they have an example of this? Okay, here's an example where the hold tap key was first, so F. It's either Shift or F, so F comes out first, FJ. I don't think they actually have an example of a rolling one where it rolls the other way. I guess they call that a nested key press. Oh wait, what am I thinking? The hold tap key always starts the decision making process, right? I guess it depends. I guess the way these examples differ is that here's where the hold tap key is released first, and here's where it's where is it released second. This is where the other way around. Here the hold tap is released first, and here it's released second. Yes. Okay, but it's the delaying of any keys pressed that I'm not doing yet. Okay, I'm mostly talking to convince myself that I know what I'm gonna be doing. So I think I need to have like in place a variable that tracks like whether or not a hold tap decision has yet to be made. And this was in the first attempt and it didn't quite work out, but I think now that I have things set up better, I can do this. We can just have like a counter, right? So like, let's call it pending hold taps decisions. Pending hold tap decisions. U size is fine, right? Or I always struggle to pick what size of integers. I really don't care the size of it right now. So it's going to be starting at 0. So let's get this like incremented and decremented at the right times. So it's during scan key, right? Okay. Not scan key, but scan keys. I need to put these in the right order. It's where I have the fix me's, right? Because right now it's hacked in there. Okay, here it is. It's actually, it's where these hold start times can be found, right? Okay, so at this point, yeah, whenever we insert something into there, actually then I don't need a variable. I could just look at the size of this hold start times, right? Yeah, what am I doing? I don't need to have a variable for the number of decisions if we already know it's going to be the size of that map. Okay, so if it's the size of that map, then what I can do where we have these adding of key codes is we can say like else if a self hold start times is empty, so we're not awaiting any decisions on hold tap, then we can immediately register a key, right? But if we do have some pending decisions, then we want to take that key and kind of put it in a queue to be simulated later. So actually I do need a queue. So let's say queued keys. Push, it's going to be a queue of some type, right? So it would be push back or push. Do we want to use like vec dequeue? So it'd be push back, right? Key index. Right. Okay, and if the key is released, I guess we could always do that because there's no harm in removing it if it's not in there. Right, so where this happens and we removed it, if it reaches 0, we want, well, hold on. I guess we can do it down here. If self hold start times is empty and we have stuff in the queued keys, we need to simulate them, right? So let me add this queued keys before I forget. Queued keys is a vec dequeue of, I can't type tonight. Who am I kidding? I can't type a lot of the time. Vec. It's not that I'm new at typing, it's that I'm doing Colmac on this Corn keyboard, and it's hard to switch layers when the layer you're used to typing for many years has been QWERTY. All right. What's this deasserting here? Oh, right. Where do we actually make the decision to assert shift? Oh, here it is. Because this is a great place to do it, right? Yeah, so after we've either asserted shift or released it, which would be here, we want to dump out any queued keys. So yeah, that's right here. If self, well, I guess we can do we can just loop through it, right? So for key index in self not queued. Oh, only if it's empty. If self.hold start times is empty. Queue keys.drain, right? We want to drain it all. Is there a drain all? I guess we can just do drain dot dot. That drains everything, right? And I think I just want to copy this. Actually, what I want to do is I want to have this into a function that we call. So let's make this reusable and put key index there, and then let's grab that and then do a whoop. Not a page up. A extract into function. Let's not put it there. It doesn't go there. Don't know where it goes quite yet. We'll put it here. We're going to say that this is start simulating key. We don't... Oh, do we... Yeah, I guess we are borrowing the key codes mutably. Okay. Hold on, what's the error? I got a bunch of errors now. Why do I have a bunch of errors? Do I not have this closed correctly now? Wait, what did I do? I have the wrong indentation somewhere. I'm just going to do a cargo clippy, and probably the first error will tell me what it is. Unclose delimiter on 176. Oh, that entire impl block is not closed properly? Wait, but it's closed right here. $757, $796, $757. Oh, there we go. Fixed it. So this would be self.start simulating key index, key codes, and now. Right. Okay, cool. And I guess I did not rename the function properly because that it didn't get put in there. Hey there, tattoo technologist. I'm doing really well today. I'm trying to finish this hold tap. I've been calling it mod tap, but it's really better called hold tap because when you hold down a key, it can mean a couple different things. It's either a mod or modifier like shift or control or alt, but it could also be a layer swap. In QMK, they call them different things, so they'll say like mod tap, or over here they call it a they also call it a mod tap even if it's a layer tap or layer toggle or a layer tap. And I think the term is confusing because a layer is not really a modifier, it's just internal to the keyboard saying that now we're on layer 2, so they're numbers instead of letters or something like that. So I've been calling them hold tap, but yeah, I'm trying to support some of this because on a reduced key keyboard like this Korn keyboard or the one I'm making where it's only 36 keys like the Korn, there aren't enough keys to have like all the letters, all the numbers, all the symbols, all the arrows, independent keys. So we have to have some keys have dual function or sometimes even 3 or 4 different functions. And I worked on this somewhat yesterday. I have tap versus hold working, so like if you quickly press and release a key, it means one thing, and if you hold it long enough, it means something else. Generally, it's like either a letter or a number if you tap it, and if you hold it long enough, it's a modifier or a layer switch. So we did that, but what I haven't done yet are this active mod plus tap or hold, where you have another modifier that's active at the time and that gets extended. I haven't done that yet, and I haven't handled this nested press of another key. And I want to use this ignore mod tap interrupt behavior, where if you start holding down the key, and then while you're doing that, you press another key, it should delay that key press until a decision's made. And like I was saying before, the decision is made for mod tap or hold tap when either you release the key or the timer expires on the tapping term. So here we released it early. So right here when we released it, since it's early, it's a tap, so there's an F, and then this queued key J comes out right afterwards, so FJ, right? And if you held it long enough like this, we make the decision at the tapping term, so it becomes a shift J. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm delaying this J key press, so to speak. And then when we get, this is how we delay it. We say, well, the hold start times isn't empty, so we're going to delay the key press. We're going to queue it, and then those queued keys get simulated out here. Hey there, Endurn. I'm doing great. How are you? Endurn, are you at home or at work? I hope your job is going well. I got to visit Endurn's job. It's very cool. I can't talk about it. It's very neat. Can't borrow... Okay, so it's mutable because of this, I think. So probably what I should do is I should drain out all the keys and put them into a collection. So let's just do that. So let queued... We'll just say let keys equals self.queued keys.drain all of them .collect into a vector and then I can just say for key indexing keys. Work sitting outside drinking coffee by saying I can't talk about it. Do you speak about it? I don't talk or speak about it, because that would be doxing you and that would be not nice, so I'm not going to do it. Of course, you're always free to dox yourself if you wish. Okay. Do we handle stopping simulating key? I do, right? I do right afterwards, right here. Right, so this hack was doing this entry 0, right? So I think we have to visit all of them. I think we need to visit all of them and then put them in, just like we did with this list. And after we collect the ones that should be stopped, then we'll iterate through them. So let's have another scope here, and we say for, well, actually, let's just say let keys, and we'll just do an iterator style approach, right? You're the only one in chat. There is a Tattooed Technologist and Bastion in there. But maybe they've left, I don't know, maybe you're the only one in chat. My console says there are 13 viewers. Oh, Tattooed Technologist is lurking. Now not lurking anymore, but back in chat. So this would be self-simulated keys. I think we want to do iter and then filter. Filter map, right? And here we're going to get a key index and a start time. And at the end, we're gonna, again, want to collect into a vector of figure it outs. All right, and then in here, the filter is gonna say this stuff. And let's make a constant out of this 40,000. We're going to call it simulated key time, I think. So const simulated key, let's call it duration, microseconds. U64 equals that. All right. Now we have a lovely screaming snake case constant where that used to be. Okay, and so the start time instead of entry get, right? And then we're going to say, I want to turn it into a option, right? If that, then some key index, else none. So that selects out of simulated keys all the indexes that where it's done. Actually, is there a drain map? Kind of want to do a drain map. I don't think there is such a thing as this. Ooh, hey there, Raising. Love my Rusty keyboard series, and as a newbie in Rust, learned a lot watching my stream. Oh, I'm really makes me happy. Makes me feel like it's worthwhile posting that stuff. Technically, you're working and have a meeting in 15 minutes or so, so it'll be on and off. That's fine. You like listening to me in the background? Well, it's great that you have the opportunity to do that. I don't stream very much. It's like, what, 3 or 4 hours every couple days? Been working on an RP2040 keyboard lately. Oh, that's cool. So you too, huh? Yours is a CircuitPython, yeah. So Adafruit's guides were very focused on CircuitPython, and I don't know much about CircuitPython. I know Python, but I haven't used it in a long time. And I hope you're having fun working on that, though. You want to redo it in Rust? Don't let me inspire you. Pick whatever you like. What if you did it in, what is it? Zig or Go? Actually, I have no idea if Zig or Go can be embedded. So then, Durin, you're going to go be social to your colleagues? Sounds great. As always, the plan to do it in Rust? Aha. Smart person. Okay, I wanted to go to docs because I want to look at iterator? No, I want to look at B tree map. Drain filter, that's what it's called. Oh, but it's nightly only experimental. Okay, we can't do that. Because this is sort of what I want to do. I want to like remove things out of the map that make that match a certain condition. Okay, well, we'll settle with filter map. Because then what I can do is I can just remove them out, right? So self.simulated, well, 4 keys, 4 key indexing keys. Okay, and then self.simulated keys. Remove. It's a pity we have to like look it up twice this way. Remove key index, right? It's probably want me to borrow that. Okay, and then we'll make kind of match this start simulating key. We'll do a stop simulating key. We're gonna want the key codes. We don't need the now. Yeah, so it's essentially this. Right, so function stop simulating key mute self key index U8. You might be wondering why I'm typing this rather than copying and pasting. I have two reasons. One, I already have something in my clipboard I don't want to lose. Number two is I'm also kind of practicing on the keyboard by doing this. Because I'm still trying to get used to the Colmac layout on my keyboard. Okay, so this we can put key index as U size. And then we're not removing it, right? That's fine. So then let's go around where... Okay, what's wrong here? Oh, this is the other way. It has to be dereferenced. So same thing there. You can do both. Yeah, that's true. You would like to do yours in Zig, but you will first get it running in C, then you'll see. C is a solid choice, I think, because you could always look at QMK, which is written in C, and when you get stuck, that's what I would do. Try to do it first by myself. If I get stuck on something, just go check a look at what QMK does for that particular case. For me, on Rust, my go-to thing would have been Keybaron, because they have like all the stuff I'm doing now implemented too over there, and it's great to have like something to go to if you get stuck. And C's been around a lot. There's a lot of stuff in there. I don't even need that departments. So you're bound to find like what you're looking for in terms of like ideas or support, like if you get stuck on something. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I did range. I want to do remove, right? What am I doing here? It should be remove, not range. Hold on. Is that because this is, yeah, we need to do a dereference there. So we're not holding on to a borrow. And we need to borrow here and not dereference there. Okay. Okay, I really should put this into its own function, shouldn't I? Control, or what am I doing to do that? Control dot, extract into function, and then function 2, and we're naming it like check for simulated keys done. Something like that. Oh, I misspelled it. When I'm not sure how to name something, sometimes I end up going with really long names. I figured that's fine. Okay, it needs to have a now. So let's have a now. If only we could have a 65-bit integer, but we can't. So this needs a now. All right. Let's refactor this, and this will be a check. What are we checking here? Well, this would be simulate queued keys, right? So, like, start simulating queued keys. So now it's like easier to read. You can see what I'm doing. I'm keeping this hack until I add the ability to have more than one hold+tap key. And then we'll basically have to iterate all of this. Actually, I guess I could do it now. We could iterate all the entries of hold start times, and then, well, we'd have to know what modifier or layer to assert, right? So maybe I'll hold off on that. Well, thank you for the follow. Okay, let me see what did I do and see if I've done all I need to do the test now. So we defined the simulated key duration, queued keys, initialized it. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, so I added code here that if it's not a hold+tap key, and you press something and the hold tab key, hold start times is empty. I need to rename this from hold start times to something else. Like it should be like pending hold taps or something. And so anyway, if it's empty, we can add the key right away. But if it's not, we're going to queue it for later because we haven't made a decision on a hold tap. Right? So that's where we add it to the queued keys. And where that gets removed is in here, start simulating queued keys, where actually hold on, that decision should be moved out, I think. It does, yeah, start simulating queued keys implies that we're going to do it, but this needs to be moved out. Hold on. I want to move that out to there. So if we've made all hold tap decisions, now we can start simulating queued keys, and that just drains them all out into a vector. Do I need to do that, actually? I don't really need to do that, do I? A vectq can be iterated just as well. So what if I just do it this way? This makes more sense to me. And then I just do this dot empty, or clear, right? So basically iterate it and then clear it. That makes more sense to me. Let's just do it that way. And then I have to borrow it, right? And then we're out to dereference that. Okay. What's wrong still? Oh, that's why I had to do it. Yeah. What we can move it out, right? Can I swap something? Can I swap it with something? Can I do let mute keys equals vec? Well, I don't like the idea of okay, I'm gonna put it back because I don't have a better solution yet. Actually, I can improve this. We don't need to drain and collect. We can just say into a vector, right? Wait. Oh, I'd have to do like, I have to put the type somewhere else. Because into is not a generic, it's up for a trait. How about we just say it's a vector? That's another way to do it. And then I can remove this side. Oh, but that moves it out, doesn't it? Shoot. Okay, never mind. I'm going back to where it was. Drain and collect. There's got to be an easier way to do that, though. Is the mod still in development? Hi, NanoBlit. No, it's on hold. It's not canceled, but it's on hold. Because the company I'm working for now, I got a full-time job, and terms of the employment were stuff like open source and game development. I can't do it while I work there, so it's on hold until in the future sometime I can get back to it. Okay, that I'd like to improve, but I can't think of how I would do it now. That's fine. Anyway, back to where we were calling that from, which I should, yeah, right here. So that handles queued keys. This pushes them in. Actually, I just thought of a better way to do it. We can pull them out, right? Yeah, I should just do it this way. While let some key index equal, and then self.keys qkeys dot pop front, because it doesn't borrow, right? And then that substitutes this, that takes the place of that while loop. There we go. It must be because it's late at night. Draconian rules? Yeah, some companies are like that. I mean, it's okay. I evaluated, like, would I rather keep working on my game and not make money, or put the game on hold for a few years, make some money, and then go back to my game. I'm like, I kind of like money, so let's do that. Also, it's kind of nice to have teammates again for a while. Kind of missed that. Work on game or not starve. It's not about starving. It was about, like, they approached me, and I'm like, that would be cool to work again and make money for a while. I don't need to do it forever. But yeah. Hey there, Frosty. How are you? It has been a while. I've been pretty well. I'm doing slightly different stuff on Twitch streaming these days. Instead of doing game dev and that kind of thing, I'm making stuff. So I made this. Doesn't this look cool? It looks kind of bizarre in that it only has 12 keys. It's because it's an intermediate prototype. I'm trying to make my own keyboard, kind of inspired by this Korn keyboard that I have. So it's like a 36 key split keyboard, and I'm writing my own firmware for it. So I have like the chassis and switch plates for it. So here's like the shape of them, final product. So I've 3D printed the plates for them and the chassis that go underneath, like this guy. And I'm waiting for the circuit board to come back. I did all the circuit board design on stream using KiCad. So that was new and fun. Learned a lot of new things there. And yeah, today I'm just working on firmware again. Hurting all over for some unknown reason. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, so I kind of like this hobby project I'm doing because in the end, I'll have made something that I can use. It's going to be more than just like, oh, that's cool, put it on the shelf or work on something else. It'll be something I can actually use to work on more things. So I'm making something useful. I like it. Okay, kind of got lost in my checking. I think I was checking to make sure I'm not missing something here. Right. So we covered putting keys into the queue and then taking them out down here. Right, and then for simulated keys, we start them in a couple places there, and also when we queue them, and then we finish there. I think we're ready to test, so let's build and program it. What about turning the keyboard into a macro in like your own Stream Deck? I could do that too. But the first project is to actually have a general purpose keyboard. But yeah, I can, now that I know how to make these circuit boards, you know, look at that, isn't that cool? So it's got like components I soldered on there. It's got LEDs. It's got that the controller board. It's got two different connections jack. You can use the audio jack or your USB-C. Like I can do more stuff. All I need is ideas. If only I was a creative person and could come up with my own ideas, or just let chat come up with ideas. So what I should work on next, maybe. Yeah, sure. Why not a Stream Deck? So I have a 3D printer. I know the CAD tools. I'm only limited by the amount of money I wanted to pour into it. I guess money and time. Okay, so testing again. Make sure I didn't break anything. A tap is a 4, which is a lowercase a, right? Or an A. And then if I do a normal key, it's a 5. And what if I hold it, it becomes a shift. Then, what's it doing? Oh, because I'm holding shift. And then releasing it's deasserting shift. So if I hold it and insert shift and then press a key, it's a 5 with shift asserted. And what if now here's the test. What if I do that and quickly hit that? So what it did was we pressed this key. Why did we have an empty report? That's what I'm wondering. Wait, what? I'm confused by my timestamps. Let's try that again. So after a 36.9, 67. Here we go. This is what I just did, right? So, oh, there we have a bounce. So here's the debouncing algorithm, proof that it works, right? So this didn't result in a key press because it was immediately followed by a release of the same key, and then immediately followed by a press again, and then it stayed pressed long enough that we debounced it and said, okay, really it is pressed. And then while holding that one down, I pressed another key, it debounced that, and then we still didn't generate a key press, but I released it, and so then we made the decision. We asserted shift. Why did it wait 70 milliseconds though? It seemed to wait a long time. I need to look into that. It should have made the decision immediately on... Oh wait, no, it's waiting until the tapping term, 250 milliseconds. So it did a shift, it simulated key 1 while holding down the shift, and then it deasserted shift. That's exactly what I wanted. So let's see it in action here. Hide that. Here we go. So if I just tap it, it's an A. Tap the other guy, it's a B. If I hold down and then tap the other guy, it's a capital B. Now if I roll through it, it's a capital B. It works. Look at that. I can do capital letters by doing rolling presses, and if I roll both of them really quick, it's not a capital. So that's exactly what we want. So if I just roll through it, it's AB. But if I roll through it but then hold the first one, it capitalizes the B. Right? Cool, it works. I like it. Then catch up with chat. If I want ideas, just hit you up on Discord and you'll overwhelm me with it. That'd be great, because probably what I'll do is reject 99% of them, but 1% will be really cool ideas for my next hobby. Remember doing that in university in assembly? Doing what? Making a stream deck? Sounds cancerous, the assembly part. Assembly's not that bad. Assembly's good for like really, really small kernels that are in the tightest loops, that like the innermost loops. Like something you're doing a million times a second. Like if you're doing if you're doing like, what am I trying to say? If you're processing a huge data array and like of a million things, and then for each cell you're doing a very like relatively simple thing, but since you're doing it a million times a second, it's got to be really fast. You would code that in assembly or something like that, right? Oh, the debouncing. Yeah, I like my debouncer code. You want to see it? It is pretty cool. Here it is. Perform debouncing. So here's how it works. We have determined whether or not the key was pressed down, and is it pressed down now, and did it change, okay? We're doing this for every key, right? So we look to see, is there a key transition time entry for that key? If not, we say, well, did the state change? So did you just press it or just release it? Then we put the current time into that key transition time map, right? So hold that thought. So the next time, it won't be vacant, it'll be occupied, right? So if this time it changed again, it's like, okay, that was a bounce, we can remove it, right? But if it didn't change, that means it changed last time, it didn't change this time. So we see, well, has it stayed in the new state long enough, right? If not, we don't do anything. So we'll keep looping, and we'll keep seeing that there's something in the map for it, and it hasn't changed a second time, so it's still in the new state, right? If it stays long enough in that new state, then we've made our decision. We remove it from the map, and we flip the bit for that key. So there are like basically two ways you can go out of this, right? You can either, it changes twice, and so you ignore it, or it changes once and then stays in that state long enough, and then you flip the bit. I like it. It's worked really well so far. So I'm sticking with it. So These are still fix me's because we've hard-coded key 0 to be the hold tap key, right? But I'm going to just check this in saying we got rolling presses working. Yeah, we can close this program for now. Git commit. Git rolling hold tap sequence is working. Yay, got to work. I think next I want to do the, what do they call it? The active mod tap. So this is where you have a modifier like control, and while holding down control, you start pressing a hold tap key, and then you release the control, but we don't actually release it because we haven't made this decision yet. We hold it, like we preserve it, like it says, modifiers are preserved until the hold tap decision is made. And since we release the key before the tapping term, it's a tap, so it becomes a control F. And if we hold it long enough, then the decision is made here that it's just shift, and so we say, okay, well, we'll just do control followed by shift. It doesn't matter because we're not pressing anything at this point. Would you recommend learning C++ or Rust if you know neither and you want to make games or hobby projects? I'm biased. I would say Rust. But C++ is pretty solid choice for game development or for jobs out there. If you don't want to use a pre-made engine, don't ask me, I'm totally biased. I would say Rust because I have so much fun with it. There are even like jobs opening up here and there for Rust if you're looking for that kind of stuff. So to test this, we're going to need to have another key that can act as a modifier, right? So what if I make like this key over here be control? So that is key 6. So what if key 6 is control? Oh, I have a kid who wants to say goodnight, so hold on a second. Sorry about that. All right, let's make key 6 into control. Oh yeah, I didn't push it, but that's okay. I don't need to push it right now. Well, I guess we can just copy this hack, right? Else if key index is 6. What's it telling me here? If it's identical blocks. It's not identical though. Oh, probably it's going to say what you should do is if that's true or that's true. Which, sure, we can do that. Arguably the most common for anything software related, and you'll be able to collab with a lot of people. Yeah, it's been out for a long time and it's got wide usage, so solid choice. I'm just biased though. I don't like it as much now. Good night, assumed kid I met. Oh, right. I know what you mean, Endor. Yes, it was the kid you met. Okay, so 6 will add to hold start time. So that means I think we'll just add it to here as well, right? So if it's key 0 or 6 and it was being held, but now it's released, we're simulating a key press, and so this will depend on if it's 0 or 6. How about just do a match here? Key index. So 0 is that, comma, and 6 is control. And I forget which ones are which. Let me look at my notebook. I had it in the notes up here, so I thought I had it in the notes. I had the host report byte. Do I really need to look at the USB spec? Do I have the USB spec here somewhere? I don't even have it here. Okay, this time when I look up where the spec is on my desktop, I am going to copy it to my notes. Where did I put the dang thing? Did I delete it off my desktop? Ah, how so aggravating. HID. I'm looking for the HID. Where are you, Oh, it's not going to be in that folder. Isn't it? Yeah, it's not going to be here. Where did I put it then? Found one spec. The COM port one. Okay, fine. I know where it is, but it's not. It's in my private notebook. I got to go over there and find it, and this time I'll put it in the public notebook. And once I find it again. I'm looking. Haven't found it yet. Ah, USB documents. Found it. Okay, grab that file and put it somewhere on my desktop. Not there. Desktop, please. Why is it doing that? I hope I just open it. There we go. I'll figure this out later. Alright, so somewhere in here will be like shift. There it is. So here are the modifier keys. Let's just copy that to the notebook. Right? There we go. I did it. Actually, let's keep it up. Okay, so then we want just bit 0, so that'd be 1. And we want to have everything else is unreachable. A plus would be that you could also tinker with Godot's source, I guess? It's Godot's source in C++? What language would be best to start with, in your opinion, to be able to swap between C# or C++ the easiest? I think C# is probably the better language to start with because it's more modern overall and has a simpler syntax and is much more leverageable into things like, you know, there's a lot of .NET stuff out there, Unity. And then once you know C#, I think that leverages you into languages like C++ because there's a lot of similarities. It's just in C++ you'll start picking up the more esoteric stuff or the older stuff, right? But you'll have a lot of intuition from knowing C#. So I would say C# would make it easier to learn C++. I don't know about the opposite, though. You think, Synanabit, you think C++ will make switching to C# easier? Huh. I don't know for sure, though. So NanoBlit could be right. I don't know. Okay, where am I asserting modifiers? I'm doing it here. Okay. This, I'll just hack this by doing copy paste because I'm lazy. So if there's a 6 key in there, this is asserting control. Modifier 1, right? Okay, so the next thing would be to preserve modifiers while we're making a hold+tap decision. So to preserve modifiers, I think I need to have another variable. So we have like modifiers. Let's have like modifiers preserved. Modifiers preserved. Which makes me think modifiers itself should be like modifiers raw or something. Okay, and then where do we copy it? We copy it when where? We gotta preserve them. Okay, yeah, I know what to do. When we do one of these, we should immediately preserve modifiers. So we should say if self whole star times is empty, we need to immediately preserve the modifiers. So self.modifiers preserved equals self.modifiers raw. Okay, that's where we preserve the modifiers. And then where do we stop? When we stop preserving them would be when all the decisions are made. So I guess we can do that anytime, right? So we can do it down here. Hold on, let me think about this. Also, I need to keep up with chat. The upside of C# would be that you could do fun things easier. I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of perspective. I think what it is for me, I started with C#, or started with C++, and then years after doing C++, like old style C++, I picked up C# and it was like really cool because it just felt really clean and neat. Oh, good night.
My friend was watching your stream.
Nice. My son's going to bed and he said one of his friends was watching. So hi, son's friend. Yeah, so C# just seemed really cool and clean and modern when I learned it compared to C++. And so maybe it gives me a bias in thinking that if I were to be given the option of which one to start with, I'd pick the cool one first, and then since I would probably have an easier time learning it, it would give me an advantage learning the more difficult one. I think C++ and C# is easier because you basically just strip the hard parts. Yeah, but wouldn't you think it would be hard to start with C++ because you'd be starting with the harder language, right? I think C# is easier than C++. You want to be daunted out? Yeah, being daunted out of the gate is, I guess, what I'm worried about. Non-met, yes. Unmet, non-met, same thing. Where was I? Okay, we preserve them when on the first decision, and then where do we clear them, actually? We release it, yeah, when the decision's made, right? But after all simulated keys are typed. Okay, so yeah, we should do it when all the decisions are made and all simulated keys are typed out, then unpreserve them, right? Okay. Oh, the other thing we need to do, I think, is if more modifiers are pressed, we need to also include them. So we don't want to just do that. We also want to add them, not there, but where we assert them here. Actually, well, that's not too hard. I can just duplicate this and say modifiers preserved. And do that here. Okay, and then we're gonna make the decision. Actually, right here would be nice. Actually, you know what? A great place to do it would be right here. If self.simulated keys is also empty, then self.modifiers preserved just unpreserve them. Make them the same as modifiers raw. Ah. There. I want some more log messages to know what's happening. So here's what I'll do. I'll say like dropping preserved modifiers. Was something, now something else. Was that, is now this, and we'll even do like a 08B, just so that we can see it in binary, because why not? And then let's where I preserve them, let's also print something. Preserving modifiers. And yeah, we're just gonna say what they are. Like that. Okay, and what was the other one I think I wanted to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to log when we queue a key. So queuing key index. Because we're printing when we dequeue them, right? Down here somewhere. Where was it? This one. Start simulating key. We actually print out one. Okay, I like that. Let's build and do this. Hey, see you, NanoBlit. Thanks for stopping by. Program. So we're running our programmer, which is built into the firmware. Reprograms itself like a faithful little board. Well, two boards actually. Ba-da. 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 Uh-oh. Ba-da. Malfunctioning. Is that my it says it's malfunctioning. Sometimes the USB hub that I use for this stuff has issues, so let me unplug that and plug it back in. There it goes. Oh wow. It's being flooded with messages, that's the problem. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm printing out stuff too quickly. Alright. I also froze the camera. Oh, there's a light behind me now, too. I need to go turn off that light. Unless you guys like to see that glow. That glow is someone has a light behind my screen turned on. So, turn off second camera, turn it on, and then we should be back. Hey there, Master Agent Miyazaki. Okay, I'm flooding the log with that preserve modifiers thing, right? Or was it it was the unpreserving modifiers? Yeah, this thing. Let's only print it if they're not equal to each other. If they are not equal, then do all this stuff. Yeah. Technology most loved, dreaded, and wanted. C++ is below halfway down between most loved and dreaded. I would think it's sort of contentious. Like, which one is loved or dreaded? See, this should still program, it's just going to be flooded with log messages, right? Actually, I don't know if it's programming. Yeah, I might have to program this the old-fashioned way. Yeah, when I flood the log, it's like the program has no time to do anything else other than service the log. So, yeah, let's Control-C that guy. So, the old-fashioned way, that's flash. And I have to hold down the programmer key when I reset this guy. Okay, now flash. Okay, and the other guy will be flooding it, so I need to... actually, he won't. So this will be fine. So I can do program now, just to make sure they both get it. Yeah, here we go. Recovered. 12 keys, a big step from 2. Oh, you haven't been here since I had this made? So I did all of the like PCB design of this, and I didn't do the soldering on stream, but I did the design for this little plate, this little plastic plate that holds the keys. I did that on stream, so you missed that. And guess what? I also made the final product. So I have the plates for the final product, and I have the chassis with the screw inserts. I'm just waiting for the PCBs to come back. I did all that design work on stream. I have all the parts. I'm just waiting for the PCB to come back on Friday, hopefully. Hey there. How do I say your name? Hithouse? Hithouse. Hope I'm saying your name right. So yeah, this is the intermediate keyboard. Soon we'll be moving to the real keyboard unless there's a fatal flaw with it. What are your chosen switches? I went with Cherry MX Browns. These guys. So they're hot swappable. They have the 2 pins there. If I can get it to catch the light right. It's kind of hard to catch on this camera. But yeah, just trust me. They're hot swappable. They have the 2 pins. They're just pretty popular. They're the ones I've been using on my Korn keyboard. I'm heavily inspired by the Korn keyboard, right? I had the same number of keys on my keyboard. The only thing I really did different from mine is I measured where my fingers rest, and I had the physical layout of the keys to match that. So the shape is slightly different. It's like more customized for me. Anyway, let's test this. So this should be control. Right, asserting control, right? Deasserting control. So let me see if this reads correctly. Let's make this wider. All right, so we have on the right side a raw key, and that got debounced to key 6. And then we decided to preserve the existing modifiers, which were nothing, because we're doing a mod tap decision. And then after the tapping term, 250 milliseconds, we said we're asserting control. Wait, that should have dropped. Okay, we should have dropped the preserve modifiers. Oh, no, right. Asserting also updates the preserve modifiers. Maybe I should print that when I'm doing this assert, deassert. But yeah, we deasserted control and dropped them so that it went from control to nothing. Okay, so this should work, right? The idea is if I hit control, let me go back to this. It's so confusing. If I'm holding down control and then I roll over to this, to mod tap shift and then release control and then release mod tap quickly enough under the tapping term, I should get a control key. So this is probably best viewed with the keyboard tester, right? Where is that? This one. Let's do it in the keyboard tester. Where's my Chrome window? There it is. All right. Iteus? You can say like without the common D. Yeah, so I don't. we're gonna rely on Fryzy's help and say it's Hiteus. Most of the cherries colored are hot swappable. Yeah. Just kidding. Well, how do we say your name? All the VODs up there, Administration Miyazaki. So in my YouTube channel, all the raw VODs are already up except for the last few. And then I was thinking of making a shorter YouTube video, like maybe half an hour, with just the highlights after the keyboard is completely done. So I have like a highlight video. Okay, that light behind me is annoying me. Let me go shut that off. I'll be right back. Just wanted to shut that light off behind me so that there's no ghost over my shoulder. It's nice. It was bugging me though. All right, I bet someone's gonna turn it back on. Okay, so the idea is that control mod tap. So what did it do? It didn't do any modifier. Oh, I need to hold it down. Right, so hold down control. Oh, this is control. Sorry. Let's reset so I don't get confused. How do I reset this thing? Is there a way to clear this? Back? Nope. Oh, that did it. Okay. So control is down. So that did a control A. Great. Because what I did is I released it before the tapping term was done. That's perfect. So if I hold down the mod tap for control A long enough, it becomes a control, yeah, it becomes a control A, right? Why does it say control left? Oh, on the left side of the keyboard, right? Okay. Right, control A. Cool. So then I have control C now, because that's this one. Control C. I can hit copy and I don't have paste, but I have control C. Wait, what? We lost the nice noise? Yeah, sorry. Gotta be very careful with the key press and release events. Maybe people have separate functionality of left and right control. Yeah, so they're just different bits, right? I copied them over to my notes. Right control would be bit 4 instead of bit 0. Okay, I think this is working. So there's tap A, B, C, D, E, F. And then tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then this, if I hold this down, it's control. If I hold this down, it's shift. And if it's control and then tap B, or then tap A, release it. And if I hold that down and then press and release that one, and then release that one, what did it do? It did a shift. That was weird. It did a control A like I wanted. It's hard to get the timing right. What I'm trying to replicate is scenario number 3, active mod tap. So while control is held down, you start pressing the mod tap key, but then release control and then release the mod tap key before the tapping term, and you should get a control tap, which I think I did here. Right, we got a control. Oh no, it lifted the control. I didn't want to see that one. Let me try again. Yeah, it's not holding the control. Let's see what my log says. What the one I just did right here. Asserting control, right? And then we preserve the modifier. Okay, that's what I didn't want to see. It should not have deasserted control. What happened here? Where's my message about queuing? I don't see that anywhere. Did I not put that in here? I'll ignore that warning for now. Yeah, shouldn't it have printed that? Oh wait, no it won't because of this. Yeah, I need another message here. Not there. Actually, no, that's not where it is. It's here, right? Well, we would have seen preserving modifiers. What did I see that one? Actually, that's the first thing I saw. Actually, yeah, here we see both these two keys held down. Preserve modifiers. Okay, good. And then see, that shouldn't have happened though. That's the problem. It shouldn't have deasserted control yet because oh no, it's okay. Deasserting control is okay, but because the modifier is preserved, we didn't drop control until out here. So that should have come across as a control A. How come it didn't? This thing says that I did a key up on left control and then we got an A down. Yeah, when did this happen? Oh, shoot, I know why. Because we're not using the preserved modifiers. We're using the raw modifiers down here. Right here. We need to use the preserved modifiers. That's that's the bug. We're using the raw modifiers instead of the preserved ones. Build. What an if branching. Yeah, it's a hack right now. I'll have to. You're right. I'll have to refactor that and clean it up. That's what the yellow squigglies were trying to tell me. It's like, wow, you need to clean that up. That's the Clippy tool telling me that, yeah, you got some work to do. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to replicate the behavior of QMK called active mod tap. So while holding down one modifier, you press a mod tap key and then release it before the tapping term is done. And it should preserve that modifier that you released. Preserve it so that it looks as if you pressed Control F rather than being Control down, Control up, F down, F up, which would not be Control F, right? So we want it to be in the end, like, for me, it's going to be Control A, Control 1. No, Control A, because this is the A key, right? So it should be Control A if I hold down Control and then lift the Control key while tapping the A key. So that's my goal right now. Let's see if I can do it. I've been using this key, or this tool to test it, so let me just reload. Now it's nice and clean. Okay, so I got control down, and then I'm going to press this one, release my left finger, and then release the left really quickly. Okay, I shouldn't have gotten a shift. I should have gotten an A. Why did I get a shift? Okay, there's... Wait. Why? Okay, there's where we asserted the control, right? And then there's where I pressed down the left key, preserving the control. And then here's where I lifted the control key. We deasserted the control, but we've preserved the modifier, right? Did I hold it down too long? Is that the problem? No. No, that's the right-hand side. I guess I did hold it down too long. Because it didn't debounce it as released until... How many milliseconds left, or is that? Yeah, that's over 200. I think I did hold it down too long. Hey there, Quantum Apprentice. How are you today? Working on my keyboard's firmware right now. I'm looking at the log messages that are coming off of it. Trying to replicate what QMK calls active mod tap. So it's where we have some of the keys here that have dual function. If you tap them, here, let me show you. In Chrome. I'll just reload here. If I like hold this key down, it's a shift key, right? Say I'm holding the key down, it's left shift. But if I tap it, it's A. So tap is A. Hold it long enough, it's a shift, right? And this one on the right, if I hold it down long enough, it's control, right? If I just tap it, it's a 1. And now active mod tap is where you kind of combine them, where you're holding down a modifier like control, and then you just tap the other one. So instead of getting control and then shift, if you just tap it, you should be control F, and it preserves the control so that it looks like control F and not control up, down, control up, F down, F up. That would be the wrong sequence, right? So I'm trying to replicate that here. So control, and then tap and then release. There we go. Control A. Control A, that's what I wanted to see. Great. It actually worked. So in my log, let's see that. Here's where we asserted the control. And then here's where we pressed the mod tap key, so we're preserving that modifier control. And then we're deasserting control, but I should log here that we're still preserving the control, right? And then because it was a tap, we simulate the key. And then after the simulated key is ended, then we drop the preserve modifiers. It was control, and now it's nothing. So it works. You don't think it was because of holding it too long? And maybe think I still have a glitch in there? Hey there, Baker Staunch. Wrong sequence, also known as an F up? Yeah. F key up. I get you. Okay. Well, let's test this a little bit more. So holding down control, and then it's going to be this down, and then right finger, and then quickly right finger up, left finger up. There we go. If I hold this one down long enough, it becomes a shift. So left control, left shift at the same time, right? I think I just wasn't fast enough the first time. So it's control A. Control A. It's working. I think it's working, and I'm going to check it in. I'm going to say it's done. So, new terminal, git commit, and we're going to say git, what's the term for this? Active mod tap working. Active mod plus tap working. And then let's push that up to my upstream. It is nice. So I have implemented now tap, which I was showing before, right? Tap versus hold. And we did active mod tap. And then earlier I did this nested key stuff. So actually, let's demonstrate that again for people who missed it. So I'm doing the ignore mod tap interrupt behavior of QMK, right? Where it is a nested key press. While holding down the mod tap key, we press and release another key. It should delay that key until we make the decision that, hey, yeah, it's either shift or it's F. So you don't hold it down long enough, it's an F, followed by a J because you press the F first, right? So this is preserving the order, F first, then J. But we had to wait until we knew it was an F. And the alternative is here, where we hold it down past the tapping term, it becomes a shift J. So let's go to Chrome and make sure we do this. So I'll do it where I'm not holding it down long enough. So it's a 1B, right? But now I'll hold down this one long enough, and now it's a control B. I think that demonstrates that it works, don't you? The real test would be when I get the full keyword back and I type on it, does anything type incorrectly? So here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I can do shift. I can get those symbols. I can do shift over here to get... That's weird. Where's C? There's C. Thought it had a key not register, but I think I was imagining it. Looks like it's registering to me. It seems good. All right, what am I doing next? What do my notes say that I'm doing next? I think I did the freeze modifiers. We did the unfreeze modifiers. We did this delayed keys. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. So let's mark it as done. So that's mod versus hold is done. Mod. Oh, we haven't done layers yet. Should I work on layering? You don't have a program called ABCDEF? No, I don't. I haven't written it yet. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I guess I don't. So, yeah, I have left... There's some... Okay, I could try to use a second CPU core. That would be a fun project. It's past midnight for me. I should try to wrap this up soon, right? What's this one? Revisit. Should we be writing a keyword for every time? Oh, yeah, I need to fix that and figure out why the log messages don't make... Actually, I have an idea about that. So I think that's what I'm going to wrap the stream up with. I think I have an idea about why this happened last stream. So last stream, the log messages stopped happening until I put a hack in. So right now, like every time I hit a key, the log gets updated and it's like really smooth and fast. I got into a situation yesterday where it just froze, and it had something to do with how I'm polling the USB on the device side, and I think I know what it is. So let's fix that, and then if I can bang that out, I'll call this a good night. Oh, actually, there's a warning here. Oh, you can collapse it? Then please do. There we go. It collapsed. Check that in real quick. Minor cleanup. Collapse to if statements. All right. Okay, let's find the hack. That was in... Actually, it's right here in scan keys, right? This thing. So what I really want to do is only send it if it actually is different. Which means what? Which means that the modifiers are different and or the key codes are different. How do I know that they're different? Was it this? Key codes is different? Oh, we don't have previous modifiers. I should add that, right? There should be previous modifiers. Previous modifiers. What's modifiers? U8? Okay. Previous modifiers. Actually, you know what would be better than that? Just have a previous report. Instead of previous key codes, have a previous report thing. Oh, but that had a problem where they didn't implement the equals operator, right? Okay, yeah. So I'll just keep this for now. Previous modifiers. Okay, and then whenever we fill that report, down here we need to set it so self.previous modifiers equals self.modifiers preserved. And I should probably combine this together, right? Yeah, in fact, let's move this up to here. And move this down to here. And this should be an OR. These two are not the same, right? Not equal. Let's fix the order of this thing. There. And then move this down to here, along with this. Okay, save that. And let's print out the modifiers. Oh, 8 binary. This one. Cool. So now we are on. So I don't now. Now it's not a fix me. So send a keyboard report. We'll set up a keyboard report to be sent. If key codes or modifiers are changed. Since the last report. Alright. So I'll demonstrate the problem here. It'll work, but our log will be kind of sticky. So program. And this sometimes happens. I have to be patient about this. It's a Windows bug, I think. My keyboard's ready to talk to Windows, but Windows is like, okay, I'm connecting. Hold on, I'm connecting. And I don't know why. I guess it's my time to catch up on chat. No one said anything in chat, so I have nothing to respond to. I guess while I'm waiting for that... Oh, good day. Hey there, Eno. I think the bug is in poll USB. I was looking at this after the stream yesterday, and I realized that if poll doesn't say there's something to do, we're not going to go into this loop, and so we're not going to try sending a keyboard report. So shouldn't we do shouldn't we just always try to do that? I think we should. And same thing with all this, right? I think the only thing we should do in poll is to do this read or this pull. I think the solution is to move these outside of that if statement. Still connecting? Really? Oh wait, I know why. Because I have another window open. Let's close that first window. That's probably what it was. Do I need to kill this window and start over again then? Or do I just need to wait? Yeah, I had two windows open by accident. Let's just kill that one and kill this window and just run this again. How do I get it unstuck from this? Just wait long enough? I wish I knew why it was stuck like this. You just arrived. Okay. Reboot. Yeah, actually, reboot the keyboard might work. Let's do that. Reboot. Well, I should do that when this is not running. So, now program. Actually, that worked. Thank you for that suggestion, Quantum Apprentice. I'm pretty sure it's not my firmware that is getting stuck. It's something in Windows. But yeah, rebooting my end probably kicks Windows out of whatever timeout condition it's in. Okay, so now you see that I'm pressing the keys, but nothing's happening. But if I go to a terminal window, the keys actually work. Oops. Actually, they don't work. Oh, right, because that's stuck too. But if I hit... Yeah. If I hit caps lock on my other keyboard, then it comes out. So here, so I'm going to do my theory. My theory is that I need to move out these from outside the if statement. So let's do that. Let's take this and take it out and put it over here. Return current state of the controller and the current program. Current state of the controller and the current programmer. That's an option, right? Yeah. So we should say if any. All right. Build that. What are those hardware thingy with keys you're using? This is a prototype keyboard that I made on, I did most of the design work here on stream. So I designed this custom printed circuit board. I didn't do the soldering on stream, but I did it off stream. But there's basically just 6 keys. So each key has a switch, a diode, and an LED. I didn't populate all the LEDs. I only did the 2 on the end near my thumb there. Because I found out that I accidentally designed them to be backwards. So instead of shining up through the keys, they actually shine straight down. So this is why I made a intermediate prototype keyboard with only 12 keys, to work out all the bugs. So after I made this and it mostly worked and I learned about what I did wrong, I proceeded to the full design, which I also did on stream. And it's going to look kind of like this. If you can imagine, there's going to be 36 keys total instead of 12. And it'll be kind of like the Korn keyboard, which I have one up that I've been using to type. So it's a split keyboard, 18 keys on each side, so like 3 rows, but then 5 columns, and then 3 thumb keys underneath. And all the firmware I've been writing in Rust on top of some foundational libraries that are open source. Yeah, it's going to be backlit. There are going to be an LED, a smart LED, so like really there's 3 LEDs, red, green, and blue, under each key. So like just like the Korn, like if I hit keys here, they start to light up, right? Kind of hard to see with my camera, but if you wait long enough, they dissipate. Yeah, the camera's not so great. If I just hit one key, you can see it's changing color, right? And then underglow LEDs as well. Well, that's interesting. That launched HTML help. Probably because HH is HTML help, right? So that's what I've been working on, making my own keyboard. All right, so burning the latest program in. We're not going to see it here because of the bug I'm working on. But hopefully when it's done and it resets, it will be working again. Okay, now it should be working. Oh, I fixed it. Cool. So now it should only be sending a keyboard report when things change, not constantly. And the log is working. Nifty. So yeah, this keyboard, it has actually 2 functions on the USB. It is a serial port, which lets me see the log messages from my code. And it also actually works as a keyboard, so I can hear and hit keys on it. I do A, B, C, D, E, F on the left, and I have on the right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to test. But I also have dual function now, so if I hold this key down, now these ones on the right are shifted. And I also have control keys. Control keys are hard to see, so it's easier to use like this test. So if I hold down this key, it's left control. So that's control A, B, C, D, E, and F, right? If I hold down this one, it's shift, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are symbols. Time to hydrate. You have a Mistel split keyboard, plenty of configuration from the keyboard itself, and your kids keep changing which keys just to prank you. Yeah, I wonder if I need to lock down my configuration program so my kids can't get access to it and mess up my keyboard. Yeah, you could use this as a stream deck. Actually, that's a great idea. When I'm done with this prototype, I can still keep it around for like macros and stuff, right? That's one thing I haven't completely finished. I have on my list is to have combos. So one key turning into like a combination, like a sequence. I haven't done that yet. And I haven't done layers yet. Actually, let's turn this into layers. So I haven't done combos and I haven't done layers yet. But I'm glad that I fixed this just now. I figured that out, and I figured that out at the same time. So, wrapping up this stream, we're going to be done soon, sorry. But the next streams will be, until I get the PCB back for the final keyboard, we're working on combos, layers, and then maybe looking into what we can use the second CPU core for. My idea was to have one CPU core just dedicated to doing the USB. And the other CPU core would be mostly dedicated to the key scanning. Okay, and we can also work on what happens when the PC goes to sleep. What does our keyboard do? Do we have an idle state, like a low power mode? Maybe we shut down the LEDs or something? I don't know yet. So those are things I'll be working on next. You need this OneNote? Okay. Here's a link to it. It's public. I have a bunch of stuff in here. So like there's the overview of who I am and who inspired me. There's another source of inspiration is the Pinchy keyboard, which I do recommend you guys look at. It's kind of cool. It is a keyboard kind of like mine where the firmware is all in Rust. And it's using a Raspberry Pi microcontroller. So I got a lot of inspiration from that. And yeah, I have an overview of what I'm doing and some of my goals. All of this that I'm doing is archived on YouTube. Let me get the link to that. So if you miss a stream, or if later when I'm done you want to see the condensed like highlights, I'll probably have that posted on the YouTube there. And then I didn't actually have a whole lot of question. I was going to have a question and answer section, but I didn't really fill much in. Actually, this is one of the most frequently asked questions is what the heck this chip is, and it's a Raspberry Pi microcontroller, which is pretty cool. Definitely recommend if you're going to do like a hobby project kind of like this, that you check out Raspberry Pi, because now they have both standalone computers that run Linux, and they have the embedded microcontroller. It's really nice. Oh yeah, and I have all the data sheets that I've been using, which is really helpful. Like this, for example, was invaluable. This is the pinout for that controller, listing the GPIOs and stuff. So, yeah, I got a lot of useful stuff here, and a lot of links. So the documentation, a lot of the crates I depended on, videos I watched to learn how to do PCB design. Oh, there's another keyboard someone linked in chat that was Rust firmware. Keyboard tester I used today, all the parts that I ordered, mostly from DigiKey. And, oh yeah, Adafruit has a really nice guide for the LEDs, the NeoPixel LEDs, and then the mod-tap stuff we were looking at today. So yeah, I like sharing the learning that I accumulate. So I usually take my notes, the documents I find, and I put them in OneNote, and I share them with anyone who wants them. So let's wrap it up today. Wife was asking you to get some food. Okay, I'm going to be ending soon, but I should be back tomorrow, probably working again on the firmware and doing. Actually, I feel most like doing the layer stuff. So that's probably what I'll do next time. Where was that? Areas need work, layers. So with a with a reduced key keyboard, obviously you can't have each key dedicated, and I already showed you guys how hold tap works. If you hold the key, it's shift, but if you tap it, it's A. So another thing you can do is in addition to modifiers that all keyboards have, like shift, control, alt, you can have this thing called layers, where if I hold down a key, instead of it being shift, it actually changes the meanings of all the other keys in the keyboard to be something else, like maybe they're numbers instead of letters. And so I need to have that for my keyboard, and it's an internal thing in the keyboard. It just changes what the keys mean. We're not going to tell the host that, hey, we switched to a layer or whatever. The most I might do is I might change the color of the LED to show what layer we're on. And I'm going to work on that tomorrow, I think. Layers are kind of spooky. You only use one layer on your keyboard to stay safe. So I think it's best described by this little piece of paper that I used mostly when I was learning. Can I get this on camera? Probably not. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's a printout of the layer reference for the layout I use on the Korn keyboard. I guess it's really impossible to see. But each key has like up to 4 different functions. So like this one up here is either a W, F7, the 7, or the ampersand, depending on what layer I'm on. So yeah, when you're first learning what the layers mean on a layered keyboard, it's really useful to have like a reference printed out and pasted where you can see it. Your keyboard is like 9 layers. I have, I think, 4. There's the normal layer, which is letters. There's the number layer, the symbol layer, and the keyboard navigation, like the arrow keys, page up, page down, home, and layers. And then some things are like on like layers that they don't necessarily go with, but I had extra keys. So like undo, redo, copy, paste, and cut are on the navigation layer. Even though they're not navigation, they're more like macros, right? And that's most convenient because the keys are different between Mac and Windows, and I have another key combination that switches between Mac and Windows. Actually, that's another thing I need to do in my own firmware. I need to have like a mode switch so I can like change the meanings of certain special combo keys like cut and paste. Because on Windows it's Control C, Control V, right? And on the Mac it's Command C, Command V. And Command and Control are different keys on the Mac, right? So there's something in QMK where you can like swap, they call it meta, I think. Swap meta with Control. Where was that listed in my notes? GUI, not meta. So this GUI key on Windows is the Windows key, and on the Mac it's the Command key, right? Because the Mac does have, I think it has a Control key, right? And it also has an Alt key, and everything has Shift. But GUI on the Mac is actually Command, and then you use that for cut and paste. You don't use Control. So I have on my Korn keyboard a special macro that can switch between them, and I do that a lot when I go between Mac and Windows. Anyway, I think I'm done. Let me wrap this up. Let me play with this a little bit to make sure that everything looks nice here. So if I hold that, there's the raw key, the debounce key. We're preserving the modifier because we're making decisions about mods. Then we asserted shift, and then we have no keys pressed, but we have shift held down. I release the key. It's a raw up, debounced up, deassert shift, drop preserve modifiers, and then nothing. So that's good. So then if I just tap it, it's raw down, debounce down, preserve the modifiers because we're still deciding. Then the key goes up, debounce goes up. We simulate key 0, it goes down with no mods. Simulation ends, key goes up. If I tap a normal key, it's just raw down, debounce down, generate key. Up, debounced up, generate new report with nothing. If I hold the key down, it's just down. If I lift it, it's just lifted. And then here's where we get into the exotic combinations, right? If I do that, then we did a queuing key 1 because what exactly did I do here? I pressed down the mod tab key and then immediately pressed down the key next to it. And we had to queue it because we didn't know if the first key was a shift or a tap. But then when we asserted the shift, we're like, okay, now we're going to simulate the key 1 with the shift. So it's a shift B. then the B goes up, but with shift is still held down. And then finally I lifted the shift key. We deasserted it. We dropped the preserve modifier. That was back to nothing. So it's working. Oh, the other thing I did today is assert control and then do that. I don't know why it flashed yellow there, but control was down, right? And then I tapped shift or A, depending on if we hold it down, right? So it should have gotten a control A if I did this right. Yeah, control A. There it is. So although we deasserted control, we preserved the modifier so that we saw it come out with that key. Then we dropped the preserve modifier and went back to 0. So the Windows sees control A, then just control, and then nothing, which is what I wanted to see in that case. Got to check for face rolling the key with modifier down? Let's do it. So here's face rolling. Asserted control, right? And then we face rolled on the left-hand side. So here's the order of the keys. We saw first 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then actually at one moment I had all 6 held down. And they all got queued. Oh, because we hadn't made the decision yet. And then I lifted them all. So then we simulated all 6 keys. So we did control A, B, C, D, E, F all at the same time. That's awesome. And then we started lifting up keys, right? So then we had, I guess, key 5 got lifted, and then a whole bunch of them all ended at the same time, so they all went away at the same time, and then control went away. Modifier B down, C down, B up. So like that kind of a roll. So assert shift, simulate the other key. So that ended up being a shift 1, which is what I want it to be, right? Yeah, that's good. Now what if I just mash all the keys simultaneously? So we have a whole bunch of messages happening. So starting right here, right? On the left side it saw 1 down, then it saw 2 down. But it hadn't debounced that key. And then it finally debounced it, so then we had 2 keys down. And then all of a sudden we had a whole bunch of keys down and then we started seeing keys on the right-hand side. So you see, it starts to fill up the key report. We can only tell Windows about 6 keys simultaneously. So eventually we fill up all the keys, but we can't... oh, I guess one of them was a modifier, so we ended up queuing a bunch. But yeah, at some point we had all the keys down here. And then we started simulating keys. But it's already in the key. That's interesting. It simulated key 6, but it was already in the report. Interesting. You see how it's like simulating them, but it can't report them because the report is full? So they got dropped. We never reported these keys because it filled up. And then finally I lift them all up. So it's the same thing. Like you can only try this on your keyboard if it's USB. You can never get more than 6 keys down because you can't report to Windows more than 6 at the same time. So the most you'll ever get is like maybe 6 letters. I'll do it on my corn tool. I'll just face roll it. You only get like 5 or 6 keys at once. Yeah, for USB it's 6. There are actually 8 modifiers, not 2. Here are all the modifiers. You can have all of these down simultaneously if you want. That's just all bits are set for the modifier byte. And then we also have the caps lock, num lock, scroll lock. You can also have those on at the same time too. Yeah, so if you're not using USB, if you're using like PS2 or something else, you can have a lot more keys down. But yeah, USB has, I think what I read is it goes back to like what the minimum set of features the BIOS supports. And then most keyboards just adhere to that. And then I think the default implementation I picked up from the RPRS group was the same thing. So they just implement, actually it wasn't from RPRS. It was from, let me look it up. I can tell you what I'm using. I'm using USB DHID. USB-D HID. So they probably say there somewhere. Let's look. USB-D HID. Maybe they don't. Maybe they say it, maybe they don't. Oh, that's an interesting name. Twitchy Liquid 64 and 10 other contributors have made this. Yeah, their documentation is pretty sparse. But I'm, obviously I didn't change their implementation, I'm just using it. And I think if we look at their API reference, I literally can only fill in 6 things in an array in a not a descriptor. It was where was it? In the module, well, not modules. Inside this one, right? Was it report info? It wasn't that. One of these. Was it push input? One of these. I can't remember where it was though. Let's go back. I should just look at what I did. I'm kind of rambling because it's the end of the stream, I'm almost done anyway. Where did I do that report thing? Oh, that would be in poll USB. Yeah, push input is what I'm looking for. But the type is keyboard report. That's what I want to look for, keyboard report. Yeah, this thing. So yeah, see they only give us an array of 6 key codes. So that tells me that they're just doing the bare minimum. I think you can do more like N key rollover with USB, but it won't be supported by your BIOS. You have to have your operating system support it, right? I haven't used the PS2 mode in years. Hey there, Beatrix Inc. The code is too stacked, add some blank spaces. I need to refactor my code. Like when it gets to this level of indentation, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is too stacked, right? I'll alternate between like adding more code to my project and then in one stream, and then the next stream I'll say, well, this is a refactoring stream, let's go clean up the code, and I'll do a lot of function extraction. So I might take like this block of code here and make it a function. So that effectively splits the indentation into 2 parts. One here that goes up to this far, and then another in the function we're calling here that goes out to here. And then we're like, okay, that's good enough, and then stop there, or we might break it up further. But yeah, I added a bunch of code today and I haven't refactored it. So in fact, this scan keys is going to look pretty awful. Yeah, this function is really long. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty bad, right? There's even a fix me with a hack, because we hacked these 2 keys to be mod+tap keys. Oh, that's the other thing I need to do. I should add it to my list before I forget again. Areas that need work, system-wide, we need to have cleaner way to describe what keys do and allow them to be programmable. So my thought about the programmability is we would like reserve some area of flash memory for a like a key config block. So we have some kind of struct that has like all the information about what each key means. Like, is it an A? Is it a 1? Is it a mod? Is it a shift? Mod+tap shift or A? And we would serialize it all, write it to flash memory, and then on boot up, the keyboard would load that in, and then we would consult that instead of having these hacks. So, right, we would consult the key map and say, well, if key 0 is a mod+tap, it's either shift or A, then rather than having this hard-coded thing there and this hard-coded turning on shift, this would actually be something we would get from a struct. So that needs to be done. And then what I wanted to do was put that into this program that we would have, like, in addition to showing the log, we would have some kind of area that we could open up that would show like a rendition of the keyboard. Probably I'll just take a picture of this, right, and turn it into a bitmap, and then we would like click on a key and then hit a key on another keyboard to like do a key mapping. And then when we're done and we hit save, it would actually load it into the keyboard and have it save it into Flash. And then we would reset the keyboard or whatever. We'd apply the change, and then the keyboard would be doing whatever mapping we set. So actually, let me put that in here too. Actually, that's a subtask of this, right? Add a GUI for viewing the key. Actually, there's 3 things, right? Loading, viewing, 4 things: editing and saving the key config blocks. Actually on both keyboards, right? Probably what I'll do is I'll have a combined block that when it sends it to this keyboard, he'll forward the right hand sides along and save. He'll save his half and he'll save his half. That's the way I think I want to do it. So I need to do that too. All right, I think I'm done. It's past midnight. It's almost 1 in the morning. I always stream too long, you know? Why do I keep rambling on when I should be asleep? Okay. Would you guys rather that I raid Adam C. Eunice, who raided me yesterday? He's doing his own game dev. Or do we want to raid someone who's also working on a mechanical keyboard? He's doing it in C, and it's a combined keyboard and synth, and he's a Korean streamer. The game dev, Adam C. Eunice, he's Australian, and it's going to be in C# and artwork. So completely different streams. What are we thinking? More fun to stay up? If you guys don't have any suggestions, I'm just going to pick... I'm going to pick Adam because I rated... Jula Day 97 a couple times, but I only managed to raid Adam once. Let's raid Adam. He's a nice guy. He's doing his own game with his own artwork. He's got a fun stream, a big community there. And he raided me the other day, and I'm gonna return the favor. I'll be back tomorrow though. So hope you enjoyed. If you did, then I'm trying to keep to the schedule of this time of the day or night for you, and generally it's going to be like my Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but like today, sometimes I'll occasionally do a late night stream Tuesday, Thursday, or maybe even Sunday. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. See ya, and thanks for watching. See ya. I am Eno and Bastion and Velusip and everyone else. See you later. Bye.